The movie begins with Bill Baker, an oil rig worker from Stillwater, Oklahoma, who has recently lost his job. He's now on the hunt for part-time construction work after being laid off 6 months ago when a rig was shut down. Bill visits his ex-mother-in-law, Sharon, who is ill and relies on an oxygen tank. While helping her around the house, she asks him to take a few items to his daughter. Bill heads to his daughter's room at Sharon's house and collects some photos. At the airport, he notices a gold Stillwater necklace in a gift shop before boarding a flight to Marseille, France. Upon arrival, Bill checks into a Best Western hotel where the staff recognizes him, indicating he's a frequent visitor. That night, loud music blares from the next room, so Bill steps onto his balcony to ask his neighbor, a woman, to turn it down. She responds that she doesn't speak English. The next day, Bill prepares a care package and visits his daughter, Allison, who is imprisoned for murder. The logbook reveals that he has visited her many times before. Allison has been incarcerated for years after being convicted of murdering her girlfriend, Lena, while abroad. Despite the media frenzy surrounding the case, both Allison and Bill maintain her innocence. Allison claims that Lena had been with another man that night, a guy named Akim. She gives Bill a letter for her lawyer, Emily Park, and asks him to personally deliver it. Bill agrees. Bill tries to meet with Emily Park, but she is unavailable, so he holds onto the letter. Back at the hotel, Bill notices a young girl, Maya, seemingly locked out of her room. He helps her get a new key from the front desk. Later, Virgin, the woman from the balcony, comes by to thank Bill for helping Maya. Bill discovers that Virgin speaks English and apologizes for the earlier misunderstanding. Virgin explains that she and Maya are staying at the hotel temporarily while waiting for their new apartment. She offers to assist Bill, and he asks her to translate Allison's letter. Virgin agrees and recognizes who Bill and Allison are as she reads the letter. It mentions that one of Allison's professors overheard someone boasting about stabbing someone and getting away with it. The letter asks Emily Park to investigate this lead, as Bill cannot do it alone. Bill returns to Park's office to demand help but is informed that Emily is done with the case. They suggest hiring private investigators, which enrages Bill, leading him to storm out. Bill tries consulting with other lawyers, some of whom barely speak English, but he finally connects with a private detective named Deucer. Deucer, a former cop, reviews the letter and explains how difficult it will be to track down the man if he's already on the run, not to mention obtaining a DNA sample to match with the crime scene. The price tag for the investigation is steep $14,000, which causes Bill to scoff and walk out. Later, Bill meets with Allison, who is eager to hear what her lawyer, LeParc, has said. To avoid breaking her heart, Bill lies, telling her that LeParc is looking into it, which thrills Allison. Back at the hotel, Bill enlists the help of a staff member to track down the contact information for the professor who heard the lead on Akim. Bill visits the university and meets the professor, who provides him with the details of the girl who heard the rumor about Akim. However, the professor warns that the girl doesn't speak English and won't be willing to translate due to potential negative consequences. Bill returns to the hotel, gets Virgin and Maya's address from the staff, and buys a toy for Maya. He updates Virgin on the situation, and she agrees to reach out to the girl on his behalf. Bill also offers to help with some plumbing and electrical work at Virgin's new place, which she gratefully accepts. Virgin agrees to accompany Bill to meet the girl and translate. During the car ride, they chat, with Virgin sharing that she's an actress and doesn't have much of a relationship with Maya's father, who was just a fling and lives far away. Bill reveals that Allison's mother committed suicide and that Allison was raised by her grandmother while he worked on oil rigs. Virgin begins to realize that Bill likely had serious substance abuse issues when he mentions hitting a reporter. When they finally meet the young woman who heard the rumor about Akim, she brings a friend who aggressively advises her not to talk. The situation becomes tense, and Virgin suggests that Bill back off. She points out the housing community where the young woman lives, but cautions that they are unlikely to talk to an outsider like Bill. Meanwhile, Allison tells Bill that during a parole meeting, she saw someone from the park's office who seemed uncertain about her case. Bill reassures her that he'll handle it. Virgin looks up photos from the party where the confession was supposedly heard and prints them out, thinking that Akim might be in them. She suggests that Bill take the photos to Allison so she can identify Akim, but Bill refuses, not wanting Allison to know that LeParc isn't working on the case. Virgin is puzzled, but asks if anyone else might recognize Akim. Bill recalls that the bar owner might have seen him, so he and Virgin go to meet him. The bar owner, who turns out to be quite racist, offers to lie and say any of the young men in the photos could be Akim. Disgusted by his attitude, Virgin walks out, refusing to deal with him any further. She and Bill get into an argument, with Virgin angry at his lack of reaction to the racism and Bill focused solely on getting his daughter out of prison. Virgin decides she's done helping him and storms off. Bill receives a call from Sharon, who asks how much it will cost to rehire the park, mentioning that Allison had spoken about it. Bill's responses don't make sense to Sharon, so she threatens to call the park herself. Bill pleads with her not to, but he's running out of time. Desperate, Bill visits Allison, who is confused and hurt when she realizes what's really going on. He simply asks her to look at the photos to find Akim, and eventually, she does spot him. Bill takes the photos and heads to the housing project area alone, asking around and showing Akim's picture. However, no one is willing to help. Eventually, a group of young men start messing with Bill, and the situation quickly escalates into violence. They beat him up, and Akim eventually appears, with one of the guys showing him Bill's picture and informing him that Bill has been looking for him. Virginie visits the hospital to check on Bill, who is recovering. He tells her that he only had one lead, and he used it. Bill then goes to see Allison and confesses that Le Parc refused to help, so he took matters into his own hands and tracked down Akim. Allison is furious and demands to know why he didn't take the photo to the police. Now, Akim is gone, and she's frustrated, telling Bill she no longer wants to see or talk to him. 4 months later, Bill is still in France, working in construction. He's now living with Virginie and paying rent. He picks up Maya from school regularly and spends a lot of time with her, even letting her assist with repairs in the basement. Meanwhile, Virginie is casually dating a local theater director. One day, Le Parc contacts Bill with the news that Allison has been approved for parole for 1 day a month, but since no one else can care for her, Bill signs the paperwork to supervise her. He asks Virginie if it's alright for Allison to visit, and she agrees. On the day of Allison's parole, Bill picks her up in his construction truck, which he explains is from his new job. Allison, having not read his letters, is unaware of this. Bill takes her to buy flowers, and then they visit Lena's grave, where Allison lays the flowers down. They find a quiet spot by the water, and Allison opens up about how she loved Lena. However, after Lena moved in with her, she started seeing other people, making Allison feel used. She expresses a longing to see Lena again. They then head to Virginie's place, where she prepares dinner for them. During the meal, Allison bluntly asks if Bill and Virginie are sleeping together, which embarrasses Bill. Both Virginie and Bill deny it. Later, Bill and Maya play together, while Allison and Virginie chat. Allison notes that Bill seems happy but warns Virginie to be cautious, sharing a story about how Bill let her mother's belongings get thrown out because he didn't pay the storage bill, calling him a screw-up just like she is. When Bill returns Allison to prison, she hugs him and says she's happy for him. Later, Bill receives a call and rushes to the hospital. Allison has tried to hang herself. Virginie comforts him when he returns home, and the next morning, Maya notices that they fell asleep in the same bed, still dressed from the night before. Bill resumes his routine, spending a lot of time with Maya and even attending one of Virginie's plays, despite it being in French. Afterward, they have dinner, where they both admit they might want to take their relationship further. They end up sleeping together, and the next day, Maya notices their romantic behavior. Bill surprises Maya with tickets to a football match, which excites her. At the game, Bill spots Akim in the crowd. He follows Akim to a restaurant with Maya in tow. After Maya falls asleep, Bill kidnaps Akim, ties him up in the basement, and takes some of Akim's hair to Dusa for a DNA test. Dusa expresses concern that if Bill has done anything illegal, it could land him in serious trouble. Despite the detective's warnings, Bill insists on proceeding with the DNA test. Meanwhile, Maya discovers the man hidden in the basement. Bill tells her that the man is very dangerous and asks her to keep it a secret. The days waiting for the DNA results are tense for Bill, as he has to keep Akim imprisoned and fed in the basement. During one visit to Akim, the man pleads for his freedom, claiming he only did what Allison wanted. Akim mentions that she paid him with a gold necklace engraved with Stillwater, which deeply unsettles Bill. Nevertheless, he tapes Akim's mouth shut and leaves. Bill calls Sharon to ask if the Stillwater necklace he bought for Allison was presented during the trial, but Sharon has no idea what he's talking about. The next day, Virginie notices Dusa loitering outside the apartment. He pretends to be a building inspector, asking if there have been any strange noises or smells from the basement. Virginie becomes suspicious, but he leaves before she can question him further. After he's gone, she looks at the basement door. Later, Bill picks up Maya from school, and she asks if he's going to kill the bad man. Horrified, Bill assures her he would never do such a thing and promises to protect her and her mother. When they arrive home, they are suddenly surrounded by police, who take Maya away and force Bill to unlock the basement. Expecting the worst, Bill opens the basement door, but to his surprise, it's empty. Upstairs, the police interrogate Bill, Virginie, and Maya. The lead investigator questions Maya about when she last visited the basement, and Maya lies, claiming it was just yesterday. Despite the investigator's threats to arrest Bill, Maya sticks to her story, and the police eventually leave. Virginie, who had secretly freed Akim, sends Maya to her room and demands the truth from Bill. He confesses everything, including how he found Akim at the game and that Maya had been with him. Virginie, furious and fearful, tells Bill he must leave immediately. Bill tries to say goodbye to Maya, but she refuses to speak to him. He packs his belongings, and Virginie eventually brings Maya out to say farewell. They hug and cry before Bill departs. Bill returns to the Best Western Hotel, where Leparc contacts him for a meeting. She informs him that the DNA evidence matches both the crime scene and a recent burglary, which is excellent news for Allison. Allison is soon released and gets a tattoo of Lena's name on her wrist. They return to Stillwater, where the town celebrates Allison's exoneration and return. After the festivities, Bill asks Allison if she remembers the Stillwater necklace he gave her. Overcome with emotion, Allison admits that she gave it to Akim, but only to get Lena out of her apartment, not to harm her. She breaks down, asking if Bill hates her. Bill reassures her that he could never hate her, she's his daughter. Later, as they sit on the porch, Allison comments that everything looks the same. Bill, however, disagrees, saying everything seems completely different to him now.